Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Henry Higgins III, and last night I had the privilege of seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a Thursday night preview screening before the general release tonight, Friday, July 26th. And before we get into it, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. So don't worry if you haven't seen the movie, if you haven't seen it yet, nothing revelatory about the film will be discussed here. So before we get into it, into the actual review, let's start with a brief recap of how we actually got here. So Deadpool, along with X-Men and Fantastic Four, were Marvel characters that were licensed to 20th Century Fox, which meant they couldn't appear in the MCU because they were licensed and the rights were with a different studio. But after Disney eventually completed their purchase of the Fox library, which included the rights to those aforementioned characters, the fans' thoughts turned to how and when will those characters appear in the MCU. The ball started rolling with Multiverse of Madness, with the alternate universe versions of Charles Xavier and Reed Richards, the Illuminati on Earth A38, while the Marvel's post-credit scene saw the X-Mansion and a live-action, well, CG, but a live-action version of Beast take their MCU bows as well. So we're underway. However, Deadpool and Wolverine marks the first time a former Fox property has been given their own movie under the Disney Marvel banner. And they pulled off a masterstroke in not only giving us a third Deadpool movie as a continuation of the previous entries, which seems to be a lesson they've learned and taken on board with Daredevil as well when that TV show comes out. But another masterstroke was also teaming him up with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It pretty much guarantees box office records and millions of fans around the world creaming in their undercrackers at the mere thought of this team up, which could have happened under the Fox anyway, but was made a reality in the MCU under Disney. However, a sense of caution was advised going in because there have been many great ideas on paper. There have been many great team ups suggested on paper, but a lot of them have failed to come close to that idea when made reality. Let me tell you now, this movie is not one of them. Going into this, we all knew Ryan Reynolds from previous movies is a perfectly cast Deadpool, with the charisma and mannerisms to pull the character right off the comic book page. Likewise, we all know that Hugh Jackman is a perfectly cast Wolverine, with an excellent mix of emotional baggage, anger, rage, violence, pathos. He brings a lot of it, and abs. The guy works out for this role. And what we suspected, and what was a great idea on paper, was uniting them on the big screen. But could that idea manifest itself into reality was the question. The answer? Abso-fucking-lutely. The pair are fantastic together, with certain aspects of the movie, certain parts of the film being like an ultra-violent planes, trains and automobiles, which, with Ryan Reynolds' love for John Candy, shared by many, including myself, this was likely not a coincidence. And yes, they do fight. A little bit of that was seen in the trailer. And yes, everything that we wanted a Wolverine versus Deadpool fight to be is what we get. But what about the rest of the movie? Is the charisma hurricane that is Deadpool and Wolverine all the movie has to offer? Well, I am overjoyed to say that the film has so much more to offer. The violence is brutal and uses the R rating to its fullest. The language is spicy, especially for an MCU proper movie, and it bodes well for potential future R-rated properties like Punisher, Daredevil, and eventually, when we get to it, Blade. And as for the cameos, the trailer promised plenty, and the movie delivers on that promise and then some. Even better, none of the cameos in the film are cameos for the sake of it. Each of them serves a purpose, however small, to the overall narrative. Oh, and if you've seen the trailers and you think that they've given it all away, they did not. You are not ready for what this movie is going to give you in that regard. Across the runtime, more than once, I had my eyes wide, my mouth open in a shit-eating grin, just taking in the sheer delight of what and who I was seeing flooding my brain, filling it with joy feelings, that kid again excitement that you rarely get, but when you do, you know it and it hits you like a Mack truck. So basically, to sum up, Deadpool and Wolverine is the team-up movie to end all team-ups. The runtime flies by, the cameos are not just gratuitous, they are a love letter to pre-MCU Marvel movies of the 2000s. The violence is violent. The humour hits the mark way more than it misses. And while this is in the MCU, and the TVA does link it, it is very much a standalone film. For the most part, it stands as its own thing. It is a continuation of Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. It is a continuation of the Fox X-Men universe as it relates to Wolverine. Even though this is not the Fox X-Men Wolverine, it explains why. And it just works. Everything they try just works. Shawn Levy has directed a comic book masterpiece. No two ways about it. Hugh Jackman is phenomenal as Wolverine, as we all would have expected. But for my money, this is up there with his turn in Logan itself. Ryan Reynolds works wonders in the mask and out of the mask. Deadpool quippy, Deadpool serious. Emma Corrin is a revelation. I'd never seen them in anything before now. I'd heard of them, but I'd never seen them in anything, so this is my first time seeing them in a role, and they are amazing. Cassandra Nova could have been a one-note character, absolutely is not. Fantastically played. And Emma Corrin absolutely epitomizes the bald is beautiful mantra. They are absolutely stunning in this film. And I recommend seeing it in a full theatre to share that communal experience. There's certain things like horror movies are good for it. Cap picking up Mjolnir in Endgame is probably the best example of a comic book version of just having an experience in a room full of strangers together where you're all united. It's hard to explain if you've never experienced it. If you have experienced it, no explanation is needed. You know what that feels like. This movie has quite a few moments like that. So, how does it score? Well, Deadpool and Wolverine is a must-see, and it scores 4.5 out of 5 stars on the 3rd scale of excellence. Have you seen the film? If so, leave your comments below with your thoughts and reactions, but remember, no spoilers. Try to keep this a spoiler-free zone for as long as possible, till everyone's kind of got around to seeing the movie. You need to go in this as unspoiled as possible. The trailers do give some things away, but that's what they're designed for. They're designed to hook you with bait, basically. There's nothing in the trailer that is a bait and switch, which sometimes does happen, which is great. So again, leave your thoughts and reactions below, but no spoilers. Before we go, just to let you know, there'll be some future videos coming up. One of them will be having a look at the figures that have arrived in the last few months for unboxings. They're actually behind the backdrop here in a bigger box. There's about 2 dozen of them, different brands. So I'm excited to get to that. The unboxing videos themselves. We'll also have a review of Alien Romulus when that comes out next month. I think it's 16th of August, I think it is. It's around about that time, it's mid-August. So keep an eye out for those. We'll also see if we can get some more music reviews, some reactions, if any trailers drop. So keep an eye out for them as well. And with that, thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this video. Please like and share. Plus hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will catch you on the next video. Goodbye.